How many people have said, this is what I want to accomplish this year? Okay, good idea to do that today, honestly, because what you're about to see is that what you put your attention on will expand very quickly and come back to you in remarkable ways that you hadn't anticipated. We call it out of the blue. And out of the blues are possible today. So you could leave the room today, you know, and then you're going to call and go, oh my God, I'd love to get the out of the blue calls. You won't believe what happened, et cetera, et cetera. I got a call from a very first-class professional agent in Colorado Springs yesterday, and he had come to an event and was having a challenge in trying to absorb, what are you talking about and what does this have to do with my business? Because it's unusual. Anyway, so we went through some process so that he's, you know, on how to spend this, if you will. And what happened is he called yesterday because he wants to focus on doctors. So he went and met with someone else who's focused on doctors. And the energy he called with is like, I get it, oh my God, I get it, I get it, I get it, this is amazing. And I said, yes it is, right? And we want to give this to you. What I've done for this kind of an event is to put together, first of all, to introduce to you what those professors are talking about. And we have reference materials of books they've written, and there's some amazing stuff pouring out of these universities that ultimately what they're saying is that to be effective and productive in business, that exchange has more dimensions now than it ever did. Because before, it's like, I do this, will you buy it from me? Like that. It's a transaction conversation. So everybody sort of represents a transaction. They're saying not anymore.
How we're being is a lot more important than what we're doing. And this whole thing today is about being more effective and productive, and particularly to people in commission-driven occupations. And when I first met Daryl, it was really pretty funny because a colleague of mine introduced me to her, and I said, you know, he said, you really need to meet her. I think she can not only help you, but maybe some of your clients. And I said, well, tell me about her. And he gave me this little DVD that I didn't look at till the last minute, but he said she's an executive coach. And I said, oh yeah, you know, I don't really want or need an executive coach. But when I started talking to her and found out a little bit about her, it got me so fired up because she spoke in a lot of things that I could relate to. I mean, it sounded like she was speaking to me. And nobody had really told me that stuff, but it was just really a different way to look at how to be. Instead of hearing what you're supposed to do to be successful or to get the numbers you're supposed to get, this was all about how you are being. And so with that, we're in different times. Most of us grew up in a different age, and that was known as the industrial age. And so the industrial age came with a whole different set of methodologies. We're not in the industrial age anymore. I attended a thing that one of the banks in town did a couple of weeks ago, and they had their national economists there talking, and what they said was, today we're mostly in the service industries. We all, and most of us I think in here, probably every one of us are in a service industry, right? Service industries make up about 80% today of the gross domestic product, compared to manufacturing, like 7%. And manufacturing is, he used the word, he said manufacturing is in a recession. But the good news is we don't depend on manufacturing. We mostly depend on the service industries. But you see, manufacturing was, and you could call it the machine age too, instead of the industrial age. And that was pretty important. It basically built America. But that's not where we're at anymore. We're in an information age. And so we're going to talk about both, and we're going to start with industrial age. And so there's methodologies, and you have all this in your handouts that you can make notes on and stuff. And so the industrial age was different. And what they were producing, and these are the characteristics of that age, all right, the methodologies. They wanted control. They wanted to control the end result, the product, no variance. They wanted to be able to predict what it would be like. I mean, think of some companies right now that are still successful operating this way. And I'll give you one of mine in just a second. In order to be able to predict that and control the whole process, they needed to standardize everything. I mean, think about the car business and an assembly line. So everything was the same, right? No real room for people's opinions on how to do things because they were trying to create the same thing every time. Faster was better. The faster they could do it, the more they could produce, which means the more they could deliver, the more they could sell, and profit was the most important thing in the industrial age. Not that profit was a bad thing, but it's different now. We're in a different age. We're not in a manufacturing era. We're in that service business where relationships are the most important. And again, relationships, our impact, our results, and our outcomes are affected by how we are being and how we're treating people.